Last time we saw that Umesh secret of wearing innerwear inside of t-shirt reveal in front of Siri. So, what will be Umesh reply for wearing bra inside the t-shirt? What will happen now? Now the stories continues. I couldn't speak anything and just stood there staring at her. After a while, she again said, "It's okay, if you don't want to talk to me, you can go. I won't stop you." I could see the honesty in her eyes, and for some weird reason, I trusted her and was prepared to tell her everything. I was about to tell the biggest secret of my life to a girl I barely knew, whom I met only a few hours ago, but that's what I did. I told her everything, the way my parents ignore me and how I started wearing women's clothes. She listened to me patiently and kept nodding her head while I spoke. When I was finished, she kept quiet for a minute and asked me, "Why do you wear women's clothes?" I honestly told her that I didn't know, which was true, and I also told her that I felt very comfortable wearing women's clothes then. It felt like I was meant to wear women's clothes, which was also what I actually felt. She just nodded in response, stood up, unlocked the door and held it open without saying anything, signaling me to leave. I stood up, walked towards the door, and just before I left, I stopped in front of her and asked her to promise me that she wouldn't tell this anyone. She nodded her head again and promised she wouldn't share it anyone. I just couldn't come to terms with what just happened and just went into my room and fell on my bed not knowing what to do and fell asleep. It had been a few days since the incident at Siri's home and I never saw her after that. The first thing I thought was, she would be disgusted with me and would never talk to me. I was okay with it and there was nothing I could do about it. I just went back to what was now my daily routine. Dressing up after my parents left, completing all the household work and changing back to my boy clothes before my parents came home. Meanwhile, I had purchased a few more wigs and also brought myself some things enhancing cream that had made my man things look like a natural woman's things. Even after all this, my parents never asked me anything about it. After a few more days passed, there was a knock on my door again. I quickly changed this time, removing all of my female clothes including innerwear. I had learned my lesson from my previous encounter with Siri. I opened the door and to my utter surprise it was Siri at the door, with her beautiful smile spread across her face. I was surprised to see her and was also happy that she was there. After a few moments, she put her hand on my shoulder and slid the sleeve and we both burst out laughing. She took me to her house and gave a gift-wrapped box. I looked at her confused. She said that the gift was for me and asked me to open it. Inside the box was a dress. It was a black full-sleeved top with golden prints over it. When I lifted the top out of the box, the front of the dress was made of a transparent material from the waist and was also cut in the middle. It also had a black bottom and she had also brought me black heels. I was in awe of the dress and was admiring it when Siri snapped me out of my trance and asked me whether I liked it or not. I was totally confused. I liked the dress a lot but I didn't understand why she brought it for me. So I asked her, why? She replied, that day I was completely shocked to see you wearing a innerwear and knowing that you liked to wear women's clothes. But after a while, I realized that it was just clothes and just because you wear clothes that are socially not acceptable to your gender doesn't make you a bad person. So I brought you this dress in a way to say that I totally understand you and support you in this. And I will also try to help you in any way possible. After listening to her, my eyes were filled with tears and I just stood up and hugged her and cried. Siri, after being a little hesitant, hugged me back. She asked to go to my house and get my innerwear and wig so that I could wear the dress she had brought me. I went to my house to pick up the stuff I needed, all the while thinking how lucky I was to get a friend like Siri. I went back to her house with the wig and other stuff. She directed me to her room where I could change. She had already spread the dress she had brought for me on her bed. I went to the washroom, washed my face and came out. While I was removing my boy clothes, I don't know why, but the only thought running through my mind was that I had to look beautiful for Siri. I wore my innerwear, and my things fitted perfectly in their thing. I sat in front the dressing table and wore my wig. I had curled the ends of this wig and adjusted it. Then I did light makeup, put red lipstick and kajal to my eyes. I was happy with the makeup, even thought it was simple and I looked great. Then I wore the dress and to my surprise, the dress fit me perfectly. I then wore a pair of big earrings in my ear and looked at myself in the mirror, and I really looked beautiful. I put on the heels she had bought for me. They were a little tight but fit me good. I was really nervous to open the door since I really wanted to look beautiful and nice for her. I took a deep breath and opened the door. She was watching something on the television and had changed into a t-shirt and boy shorts, in which she looked really nice. I walked up to her and cleared my throat. She turned around, stood up and felt amazed looking at me. I asked her how I looked, and she replied, "You look absolutely beautiful." I couldn't hide my happiness and blushed a bit, which made Siri laugh. She continued, "I don't think any woman would look so beautiful as you do in this dress, Umesh." I looked up to see her. She had a question on her face and was staring between my chest and face. So I asked her what was bothering her. She simply pointed at my thing and asked if she could touch it. I was surprised at her question but believed her with my life now, so I just nodded my head. She came forward and extended her hand to touch my things. My heart was pounding in my chest. I felt a completely weird feeling all over when her hands touched my things. I couldn't explain that feeling. She held one of my things in her hands, and was shocked to realize that they were real. Her immediate question was, "How?" I simply told her about the cream that I used. She asked me how I felt in the dress. I replied that it felt heavenly, which was the truth. But I complained that the heels were a bit tight. She chuckled a bit and replied, "That's how they are meant to be, sweetie." After that, we had coffee together and Siri told me that she also had interest in photography and asked me if she could take pictures of me. I simply replied yes. I had come to trust her with everything and was ready to do anything she asked me. So she took out her camera, clicked a few pictures, and also gave me tips on how to pose like a proper lady, and the pictures came out beautifully. After a while of random girly talk, Siri had to leave for a meeting and I came back to my house without even changing. I honestly didn't want to change either. I went directly into my room and didn't come out till the next morning until my parents left for work. I had slept in the dress that Siri had bought me. I was having a weird feeling, a happy feeling both about the dress and about Siri. After Siri gave me that dress, both of us became very close. And because of her varying shift timings, we met more often and I would be dressed in female clothes. Otherwise I would be at home dressed up and doing household chores just like a housewife. And also during this time Siri had given me a new name, Usha. This went on for a few months. One night, while having dinner, my father suddenly spoke to me and told me that he and mother would be going on a foreign tour for a few months and they would be leaving in a few days. He also informed that he would be depositing a fairly large sum of money in my account for me to spend till the time they came back. After finishing dinner that night, I came back to my room and couldn't stop smiling. I would be alone for a few whole months with no interference and I could dress up in female clothes all day, every day. I was so excited that my parents would be going away. The next day when I met Siri, I told her the news. She was also happy and excited that we could spend more girl time together. As my father had said, my parents left for their foreign tour within the week. The first thing that I did after my parents left was to check my mother's wardrobe to see what clothes she had left behind. I was pretty satisfied with what I saw. She had left most of her saris, which was great, and also left most of her tops and kurtis, so I was sorted. After that, I never touched my boy clothes again. Since Siri also knew about my dressing, I had the freedom to dress up without fearing about anyone. Since my parents were gone, Siri also stayed at my house frequently and I stayed over at hers. Everything was a bliss. What will happen next? Now the point is why Siri is helping Umesh aka Usha in fulfilling his desire. What is Siri's desire? Stay tuned to the upcoming part. Also like and share and subscribe to my channel for the upcoming part of these series and pay upcoming videos too.